Hello and welcome to the Ram Show. Is it November now? Yeah, I think it's November 5th, 2017. Welcome back for what I would like to say is going to be an exciting episode of the Ram Show, but the topics this week are pretty dull. So, anyway, with that being said, I am going to hit that button. And I'm going to hit these buttons. And hello, Zach. How's it going?
Hi.
So how was your week?
All right.
Yeah, my week's been pretty boring and stuff like that. I mean, didn't really do much. Halloween last week. Was that last week? Yeah, that was last week.
Yeah.
So
I did nothing because
I
don't
pretty
really
much
care
did.
about Halloween.
I pretty much did nothing either. I think we got like maybe 4 trick-or-treaters here.
I'm not gonna go to a party, and I mean, what else is there to do around here other than go to a party for Halloween?
Right?
No.
There was something going on at Nyack. Didn't they have like a party or something? I thought I heard.
do believe I just mentioned parties.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, like the campus actually threw on, not like,
I have
like
no
dorm
idea.
room party thing,
I have no clue because I don't really care about Halloween.
right? Man, I gotta adjust my chair here. Just gotta get it right in the right spot there, so it's like not too high, but it's not too low either. No, that's too low. There's no like happy medium.
I'm glad I don't ever have to adjust mine.
My chair is getting worn out, so like sometimes I'll sit in it and it will just like it'll like just flatten down all the way. And then I'll be sitting on the ground because this chair goes really, really low. So anyway. Yeah. What did we do for Halloween? Really, I did nothing. Me and Joe hung out and I think we watched like Family Guy or something. But yeah, other than that, we really didn't do anything. Oh, Cherry Bakewell says hi.
Hi.
Oh, it's actually Retro IT from the other week. He's got another channel. So hello, thank you for joining us again. Hopefully the topics this week are interesting-ish. So, what do you say we hop into them?
Yeah. I mean, isn't that what we're supposed to do?
Well, yeah,
Why
usually
don't we do that?
Usually we kind of give like a background of like, hey, this is what happened this week, and we usually just, kind of chat a little bit before we get the show started, but anyway. So,
Well, the general consensus seems to be nothing. And that Halloween is kind of lame.
okay, yes, if you're Zach. Well, I guess if you're me and Joe too, so.
I always thought of it as kind of a, it was kind of a mixed bag for me. It was like, well, you get free stuff.
I
right?
see
Who
what
doesn't
you
like
did there.
candy, but at the same time, it was always freezing cold, and I just
Oh, I remember
didn't like going
that.
outside. Like, it's so cold, but free stuff.
You're dropping in and out a little bit ish. Yeah, I don't know.
Basically, it's cold but free stuff.
Right?
Is
I
what
like
was
how you
saying.
used a mixed bag, because did you intentionally do that?
No? What, are you talking about, like a mixed bag of candy?
Yeah, yeah, yep.
Good one.
That's what
Well, I'm sorry. No. I would not intentionally make such a horrible joke.
So Retro IT or Cherry Bakewell, I don't know which one he wants to go by. But he says he's been looking forward to the stream all week, so that's wonderful.
Fantastic.
Anyway, no, okay, so I do remember, so I don't know where, Cherry Bakewell, I don't know, maybe if you want to let us know which, like, how you want us to refer to you, which name, I guess, maybe. But anyway, I don't know whereabouts you live in, either, the United States or whatever, wherever you are, but, we live in the Midwest here in America, and it is, well, cold around this time of year. It's been unseasonably cool for this time of year, though, hasn't it, Zach?
If I had to take a guess, I would say that generally Halloween is like 40 degrees. I don't know.
Right?
50 degrees.
Yeah.
Especially because it's dark. And then you go out and you're like, well, I'm wearing this lame costume, but holy crap, I'm freezing.
Right? Yeah, because the costumes usually aren't that thick and stuff like
yay,
that.
Halloween.
Anyway, yeah, I used to be more of a fan of Halloween, but that's when I was young. And again, it probably had something to do with all the candy that I got.
Then I discovered that an even better idea is to just sit at the front door with my laptop and hand out candy.
Let me ask you a question real quick here. I know you're not into having kids. Like, you despise the idea. But
I hate the idea.
let me ask you this, okay? So, if you had, like, a kid that was, like, 1 or 2 or whatever, like, not the age where they could, like, walk and talk and, like, actually eat candy, is it cheating to dress up your kid and then go trick-or-treating? Just so you can get candy.
It's kind of lame. Like, I don't know. I guess I don't know what a 2-year-old is thinking, but I mean, they probably don't know what's going on and why we're outside in the cold and I'm wearing this weird thing. There's all this spooky stuff, right?
I don't
what's
know.
the stuff that I'm getting? I don't know. I mean, if I were the parent, I would take that as an opportunity to not even have to bother. Like, oh, hey, my kid doesn't even know what Halloween is? Well, I guess I don't have to go.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. All right. First topic for this week is, you know what? We got a lot of phone news this week. You know what? Let's go over the topics real quick. We're talking about the Google Pixel this week. We're talking about the iPhone X this week. Microsoft news, of course, in there. They killed off another product. It's not the most interesting Microsoft news this week, but anyway. We're also talking about T-Mobile and Sprint and Razer. Their phone we're talking about. It's been released.
Yes, I actually did see a bit about that. And, I mean, I guess I think we talked about it and we decided that, well, they better have some killer specs or they better have some unique feature.
Right.
And it looks like they went for the former.
Well, we'll get into that in a little bit, but let's start with this right here. Do I have? Yes, I do have the topic open on my tablet here. All right, so the Google Pixel 2 XL, which is the new phone that Google made, right, has been beset by a host of problems since its release, and they range from things like possible issues of screen burn-in, which we didn't cover, but I have been hearing about this. I don't know if you have, Zach.
No, I haven't. That seems strange since I thought that burn-in was only a real prominent issue with CRTs. Although I have actually ran into...
Well, it was CRTs and plasmas, I believe. But generally,
plasmas as well, yes.
Generally, it's not a thing that happens anymore.
Actually, my LCD monitor, occasionally, I will see a very slight burn of my desktop background if I leave it the same for too long.
Yeah, and this was
very
the
slight burn-in, and it's real easy to fix. You just pick a new background,
right? And this was the idea behind screensavers. They used to be a really important thing. Now they're not that important.
That's why it's called a screensaver. I never knew that for a long time, but that's why it's called a screensaver.
Yeah. So the general consensus is that like what happens is that when you have a static image on the screen for way too long, it creates this burn-in thing where you can actually like see the outlines of things and stuff like that. So it was really important back in the old days of like CRTs to have a screensaver so that there was something constantly moving on the screen to prevent the burn-in. But I'll tell you, around the station we've got some old like CRT like monitor TVs or whatever, and you can see like the old weather graphics and stuff like that in them. Like the banners for them. It's really funny. Those things, they're like old Panasonics, and they've got to be like at least, I would say, 20 years old or so.
Wow.
Maybe even older. So, anyway. But, getting back to this, there was also some weird clicking noise, I guess. The failing a quality control test, a shipping with empty packaging,
What?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, apparently, QC for Google doesn't exist, I guess. Or it's very lame. If there is QC for Google,
I don't know.
that would be
seems a
like
little odd.
if there is QC for Google, that would be like the best job ever. Yeah, literally just sit here and don't care about anything and get paid to do it.
Oh yeah, I gotta sit here. Oh, I got a text. Better check that.
Right? So I guess.
Oh, I feel like watching some Netflix. What should I watch today?
Cherry Bakewell says, I thought burning monitors were gone years ago. Yeah, that's what we were saying.
Yeah.
That's like leaving right on a pipe and no one to read it.
Although, I do wonder why my panel seems to burn in a very slight...
I don't know.
I find that a little weird. Like,
I've never had a problem with that. I've never had a problem with that.
I mean, it takes a long time for it to start to happen, but it very slightly you'll see that start to happen.
So anyway, back to this. So I guess the empty packaging thing. So I guess they had this packaging that was gonna include like earpods or whatever, and then they decided not to do that. And so some guys phone box had this old packaging in it for that and everything. So it still had a phone in it, but anyway. So, but what's been happening now? It's a little surprising to hear that some Google Pixel 2 XL owners are reporting that their phones have, get this, Zach, no OS.
Wow, that'd be a bit of an issue.
Yeah. So they're coming in with so you get your phone out of the box, you boot it up, and then you see this right here. It says, can't find valid operating system. The device will now, a device will not start. And then it gives you this, vanity link to go to, which I guess has, absolutely no information on it. So, yeah, the link doesn't really, help.
I'm willing to bet that there's at least one person who probably thought to themselves, oh, well, that saves me some time when they saw that message, and then proceeded to flash whatever they intended to.
I don't know. I think in this case, I think a lot of people just sent it back.
Oh, yeah. But what I mean is someone who is going to load a different firmware on it to begin with probably doesn't care.
That could be. I don't know. So,
I guess I don't know what kind of options there are for that.
Right? So if you have a phone that came without Android, they say your best bet is to send it back to Google and hope that your replacement actually comes with an operating system. Whoops!
That seems like a fairly difficult thing to miss, though.
Right? Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna check this phone to make sure it works.
That's why I said. That's why I said
the
quality control must just not be there at all.
Surely they check if the phone can turn on, right? Check the phone turns on. Oh, this one doesn't have an operating system.
I would hope, but I guess I don't know. Unless they're just trying to push them out so fast and stuff like that. That it's just quality control is being put on the back burner or whatever. But if you get a phone, you expect it to have an operating system on it. I feel like that would be a pretty big quality control thing.
Yeah, you could say that.
So, I honestly have no idea how that ended up happening. So, anyway. All right, moving on to the iPhone X now. Okay? So, the iPhone X came out last Friday, I think? Yeah, I think it was last Friday. I could be wrong. Anyway, I think it came out last Friday or something like that. So a number of the iPhone X owners on Twitter have reported having issues activating their new phones.
Aren't they... Doesn't that happen when they buy the phone?
Well, no, it's attached to your network, so your carrier activates your phone, but then you also have to activate the phone, you have to go through all the setup and stuff like that, I guess.
Oh, is that what they're saying by activating their phones?
Well, okay, so the screenshot that we have, it says up at the top, could not activate iPhone. Your iPhone could not be activated because the activation server is temporarily unavailable. Try connecting
Which activation are we talking about?
I think, like I said, just setting up the phone, because it says try connecting your iPhone to iTunes to activate it.
But why do you need a server to do that? That's what I want to know.
I have no
Why
idea.
do they think they need a server for that? Like, are the settings not stored locally? Why can't it just ask for your preferences and then store them, right? That seems pretty simple.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how all that works. Well, and maybe it is on like certain networks, I guess, because the issue seemed to only be affecting AT&T, Verizon, and Sprint users in the last few hours as they were trying to get get service on Apple's $1,000 phone. Yeah, that's the other thing. It's $1,000 phone.
Yeah, I mean, if you're buying $1,000 phone, you better expect it to work, right?
Right? Yeah,
that much money, you better be buying something that works and that's not going to have problems the moment you take it out of the box. Come on.
It's just a bad time for phones right now. Here's the Google Pixel. There's no OS on it. Here's the iPhone. You just can't activate it.
I think we could say Google's mistake might have been a little bit bigger than
right
in this case, because at least Apple's phone will boot. But I for one, would find it hilarious if the tables were turned and Apple was the one.
Well, yeah, of course.
Phones that don't have an operating system.
Of course you would, because you're not an Apple fan.
Oh.
Okay. Cherry Bakewell says it's not too difficult to fix no OS on the Pixel, but you have to be confident with flashing Androids.
I flashed my phone once. I had to flash it because I messed it up.
Right? Cherry Bakewell makes a valid point, but you also have to think too, like, for techie people, like, okay, flashing stuff, you read some stuff on Google, you kind of figure it out, you're like, okay, and you give it a try, and hopefully you don't brick the device. For the average consumer, though, who opens up their phone and gets this error message, they're going to be like, I have no idea what to do.
You ask them about flashing, and they're like, what's that?
Right? Yeah.
But, I mean, I did mention that earlier. I wasn't entirely sure of the process for that on a Google phone, but I know I still have my S5. After all these years, I still have this thing. And it was, I think I used I forget what the tool was called, Odin or something like that. It was, I think, a Samsung's own tool.
Oh, really?
And I don't know why it was just floating around on the internet.
Well,
for a phone that Samsung probably don't want you to do that with. But I downloaded it. And then I downloaded an image, and then I flashed it, and that was it. It works.
I have flashed, I've never flashed a motherboard before. I've flashed routers multiple times with like DDWRT and stuff like that. I somewhat bricked one for a while and then managed to unbrick it.
So you didn't, in fact, brick it.
No, I didn't.
Soft bricked it, maybe, I guess you could say?
I don't know if that's a term. Yeah, I soft bricked it.
Like, it's broken until you flashed again, I guess?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I managed to do with my phone, is I just soft bricked it, pretty much.
Anyway.
I don't even know why. I just changed one random setting, and then it just... I forget if it boot looped or what it did. Oh, wait, no, I remember what it did. When I would turn it on, the TouchWiz was what they call it. Their UI, it just crashed repeatedly over and over and over. So I would turn it on, it would get to the lock screen, and it would just crash, and just kept popping up, crash, this and that, blah, blah. I'm like, I changed one completely unrelated setting. What is... And then I ended up flashing it, and I was like, well, at least it worked.
Right? Oh,
I have yet to touch that setting again.
So Cherry Bakewell is doing something really cool for us. He says he shared the stream to his Google Plus, and he's going to make a video about our channel tomorrow to get some of his viewers over here. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
Free promotion.
Right? That's awesome. Thank you. Anyway, so back to this. I'm thinking, okay, so users who have gotten their phones activated in the past couple hours of when this whole thing was happening, said that the process was actually pretty slow, or it took multiple times to work. And that could be the network congestion, as Rumors reader said, an AT&T rep told them, or something possibly even more serious. I bet it's probably the simple explanation where, like, because everyone was like, "Ooh, new iPhone, I gotta have it." Like, you know, and then everyone going out and getting it and trying to all activate it at the same time. I'm sure there was a lot of strain on the servers.
I think you're right, because it all adds up, really. I mean, random people are just saying, "Hey, I can't activate my phone," and then those who did are saying, "Well, it took me a couple tries, but I got it."
Right.
So, I mean, it's probably the servers.
Here's my favorite thing, though.
They're launching a new phone. Surely they know they got to beef up the servers for that, right?
Well, here's the other thing, right? So you're selling $1,000 phone. I think you got the money to upgrade your infrastructure.
Well, and the other thing is, they know exactly how many phones they sold, so that's how many they should be able to activate, right? They should know about how many people are probably going to be trying to activate their phones.
So, anyway... I guess Cherry Bakewell's been on YouTube for 10 years. Wow, that's a long time. Yeah, if you've been on the platform for that long, I'm sure you've built quite a bit of a following. So, yeah. Anyway, so, in a statement here, I checked with customer support and can confirm that customers that purchased iPhone X from Verizon are not having activation issues, a Verizon spokesperson said in a statement to The Verge. In a similar statement, AT&T said the issue was not limited to its users. Some of the customers experienced a delay activating their iPhone X. An AT&T spokesman said, the issue is not specific to our customers and is resolved. Well,
so maybe these so-called activation servers are on the carrier's end?
I don't know. And that
why does, hold on a minute, what on earth does the phone carrier have anything to do with the initial setup of your phone beyond getting it on the mobile network?
Well, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's where the issue was coming from.
I guess it could be. I don't know.
I don't know what the whole process is either. I'm sure like the phone number and like your it's not the serial number. The IMDI, is that what it is?
IMEI?
IMEI numbers are like recorded somewhere and like stored and then like tied in their system to like your phone number or something like that. Like I would imagine all that stuff goes into a giant database somewhere.
Yeah, but you'd think that wouldn't affect the initial setup of your phone, where you do all that stuff where you choose some of your basic settings, you pick your language, you set your time
I don't
zone,
know. Maybe this is one of those things. Well, no, because I honestly have no idea. I really have no idea what part it is. Whether it's getting it on the network.
If they get to the bottom of this.
Well, it looks like it's been resolved, and if it's been resolved, then I bet you the issue is probably just way too much strain on the servers. Which is weird, because if you think about it, like, the iPhone 7, iPhone 8, well, the iPhone 8, I think a lot of people held off on the iPhone 8 for the iPhone X. Honestly.
I remember when iOS 7 came out, and I think I was... Oh, right. I remember. It was it was just in the middle of the week, right? And I was at school because, that's
right.
what you do.
Yeah.
And all the people downloading that update crashed the entire network in the high school. It crashed it by everybody trying to download iOS 7.
That's actually really funny.
And I thought that was hilarious.
That's really funny, actually. God. But no, I have noticed
the network was never spectacular, but suddenly all these people are trying to download iOS 7 on it, and it just
right.
Nope.
I and that's the thing too. Like I have tried to update like my Mac. Like I've started getting to the point where like the day that like a new operating system comes out for my Mac or whatever, or like my iPhone, like I just don't update that day because there's so many people updating that like it just takes forever. So I wait a few days and then it seems to go a lot faster because there's just so much strain on the servers and stuff like that. So
I must have this new iOS update with like all these features that I'm going to use that I don't know the names of, but I'm going to use them.
Yeah. So one other little comment in here. It says it appears the issue could be just be related to iPhones purchased directly from Apple and not from the carriers. So I don't know if that's true. I don't know if there's a different activation process for
the carriers have that stuff already done.
Well, yeah, but if you're ordering it like directly from Apple and then you have to activate it on your network and stuff like that.
The ones that you buy from the carrier probably have all that stuff done already.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, I have no idea. Anyway, but if that's true, then maybe that whole like having to go through like Apple servers to get to like your network servers or something. I don't know how all that works, but anyway.
It probably doesn't actually have anything to do with Apple now that I think about it.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how all that works, but anyway.
It wants to be a mobile provider thing.
Possibly. Yeah, I don't know all the logistics on how all the activation stuff works and things like that, but anyway. Yeah.
So we can speculate based on all this info.
Yeah. All right, moving on to one of our favorite segments of the week. Time for Microsoft news this week. And this week, like, the Microsoft news isn't all that interesting. Really this week there wasn't a lot of good, like, stories, I guess. Anyway, so I normally, like, when I put together, like, the document of, like, topics that I'm going to pick from, like, normally it's, like, a page long. This week it was, like, 7 topics. So, yeah. Anyway. So we've been talking about how Microsoft has been killing off, like, different products and stuff like that. They're killing off...
different products that, if you think about it, nobody really wanted it. Nobody's going to miss the Kinect, are they?
I don't know, honestly. But they're killing off another product on the Microsoft, on the Office side-ish, kind of. Microsoft is bringing Outlook.com premium features like no ads to its Office 365 subscriptions, and basically, I guess, ending like the premium Outlook.com thing. So, if I understand correctly, like, you could have like a free account, but then if you wanted to get rid of like the ads, you pay for like a subscription to it to like get rid of your ads and like, I think maybe get like more inbox space or something like that, or things.
You can't just install ad block?
Well, I suppose you could. Yeah.
That's what I'd do. Ugh.
Yeah, so the software giant is killing its separate Outlook.com premium service, which, really? $50 a year?
$50 a year for email? Are you serious?
As a result, so if you want ad-free Outlook.com, you'll now need to subscribe to Office 365. Okay, if that's all you got, like, I don't know what the premium subscription included, but, like, to get rid of ads for $50 a year? No, thank you!
I can get rid of ads for free.
Right? With ad block?
Does that work? If not ad block, I'll find a way. Don't worry.
Yes, you are pretty resourceful when it comes to, like, ads and stuff like that, so...
If I hate it enough, I'll find a way to make it go away. Don't worry.
Yeah, so I guess if you're already subscribed, then the changes are going to automatically start. And the features are all part of Office 365. Now, here's my question, though. So what does that mean? Like,
I don't actually know.
Did
every... I've never used Office 365.
I use it for, like, work, and, like, the campus has it. Like, you can log in.
Yeah, I use the Outlook for my campus email, but that's it. And I've never noticed any ads in it. Granted, I've never viewed it on a device that didn't have ad block, so...
That's true. I've never seen it, though. I don't run... Well, no, I don't run, like, any ad block on my stuff, because I just don't. And I've never had a problem with things like that, so... But, this makes it sound weird, though. So, like, if you have an Office 365 subscription, like, did it have ads in it to begin with, or not? Like, that wording is interesting there.
I wonder if there's a different, like, free version that they're talking about in Office 365, because I think that's a subscription as well, isn't it?
Well, Office 365 is a subscription. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and it gets you all of their suite, and it gets you some you can like log in through a browser and use it.
Yeah, you get like the cloud services and stuff like that. So you can
Yeah.
either subscribe to Office 365 where you get all the products and the web stuff and things like that, or you can just buy Office outright. Or in the case of us, we get it through our school, so we
like
don't pay for
4
anything.
years free. Fantastic.
Right? Yeah. So I'll take it, right?
I agree.
Uh,
Fantastic.
Afterwards, I have to decide what I want to do, whether I want to actually have the flexibility of like being able to like have like all the upgrades and all the products and stuff like that, or excuse me, if I just want to buy it outright and do it that way. So I don't know.
I don't know. I would usually say that I would prefer to just buy it outright. So I can say, yep, I own this. I can use this for as long as I want, forever, until the end of time, and not have to pay another dime. But
You should open up the chat so you can follow along. So
do tell.
Cherry Bakewell says, I got Outlook. If you use an ad block, it takes up most of the inbox with a stupid message that asks you to think about buying premium.
Are you serious? Oh boy, Microsoft.
So, okay, yeah, so if you buy Outlook Premium, they take the ads out, and that's also true for Office 365. So then what does this mean then? So if you already subscribed, then the changes are automatic starting today. Subscribe to what?
Now, I should add that I've seen the host file method of blocking ads be pretty effective against the anti-ad block scripts of the world. Usually, instead of any like stupid pop-ups or whatever, it's just a blank box where the ad's supposed to be.
Right?
Like it'll just have like a broken image or something. So you can disable the ad block and it'll quit bugging you because it thinks they're getting through, but in fact you just get a broken image or something.
Yeah. This site could not be reached.
It's strangely satisfying. It's strangely satisfying even though you still have some of your screen taken up by a broken image. It's strangely satisfying. Just, got it.
So, ad-free browsing of Outlook.com Premium is the biggest feature, but Office 365 subscribers will also get more mailbox storage. All Office 365 Home and Personal subscribers will be upgraded to 50 gigabytes of mailbox storage space if they're already using 12 gigabytes or more. Microsoft is also including better malware scanning security and free technical support for Outlook.com email accounts. Wow, really? Free tech support.
I mean, I don't think that the malware scanning should be something you have to pay for. Have to pay extra for that. I think that's something you could probably say, yeah, you should probably have that in the free version too.
Maybe. Well, I don't know. You might think, you don't want something malicious running around on your servers.
Well, yeah.
Or maybe Microsoft doesn't care. That could be the other thing.
Oh, I'm sure they don't give a crap.
Oh, that server's infected? Okay, we'll just replace it with a new one. Although that doesn't always work because, you've got like bots that like multiply and stuff like that, I guess. I don't know.
I guess I don't know what a malicious piece of software would be able to do if it was sitting on some storage server somewhere. I wouldn't think it would be able to do anything because it's not being executed, it's just stored there. Who knows?
Right. The options are stay free and have a box, or pay dollars to Microsoft and get no box. Yeah. Anyway, I lost my spot. If you share an Office 365 Home subscription, then every member will get these new benefits starting today. Today being the 30th. Custom domain support. Huh?
Like a week ago.
When was the 30th? That would have been Monday.
Almost a week ago. Close enough.
So, custom domain support in Outlook.com Premium will only live on for existing customers. The Outlook.com Premium standalone offering is now closed to new subscribers. Current subscribers can renew their subscription to continue receiving subscription benefits. A separate support document suggests Microsoft will continue to support custom domains for existing subscribers, but that it's working on a feature to enable you to transfer your domain to other providers. Interesting. I don't know why they would include a tool for you to be able to transfer yourself to other providers. Wouldn't they want to keep you on the service to make more money?
Perhaps they weren't making enough money off the people who wanted that. So they're just
It could possibly be. I have no idea.
Although, I really don't know anything about the whole process behind how you get your custom domain email that is still linked to Gmail or Outlook or whatever you choose.
Wait, what do you mean?
I don't actually know anything about that.
Okay.
So let me give you an example. The school district that, or back in Minnesota, I guess. The school district that I went to had they gave everyone a Gmail account, but it was like at isd112.org or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So let me explain.
But it was still a Gmail account, right? If you get what I mean. So that's what I'm talking about.
So
I don't really know the process of setting that up.
Let me explain how this works, because I've done this before.
Sure.
Okay, so
fair enough, go for it.
So what you do, it's the same thing with how our email system works. We use a service called Zoho, but anyway, the idea is exactly the same. So Google has like Google Apps for Business or whatever, and basically what you do is you set up your custom domain, and then you go into your web host and you set up they're called MX records and stuff like that allow you to point your like domain to their servers, and then it passes the emails and stuff and things like that. So basically you're using them as a service, and then you're linking your email address to them. Does that make sense?
So basically, in other words, you get to pass any email traffic to them?
Yeah, so basically like your incoming and outgoing messages go through them. But
it still has your name on it.
But it's linked to
right,
your...
Okay, that makes sense.
But it's linked to your domain name, basically.
Yeah, so it's still got your name on it, but you pass the email stuff to them. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So somebody sends you an email, instead of it going to, like, you know, maybe a server that you have, it goes to Google servers. And you tell it to do that in the MX records. And that's how it figures out where to direct the traffic and stuff like that.
Right, okay, I get that.
So, I used to actually use Google Apps and stuff like that, and we would if they still offered a free subscription, but they don't. Zoho gives us free, like, I think we can have up to, like, 25 users for free or whatever, and so that's good enough for what we need, and so I was like, yep, that's what we're going to be using. So, and I've used it for multiple other, like, you know, websites that I've created and things like that, and it's great, so... You'd be surprised how many people don't understand. Well, I guess you didn't understand, but like don't understand how to get the whole custom email thing set up.
I mean, I could probably figure it out if I really needed to set one of those up, but I never really had a need to do that. I don't really like email. Okay.
Let's see. Head over to the chat. The chat. Just use Pronto Mail and be done with it. Swiss privacy laws are the most secure in the world. Interesting. So does that mean like they like won't invade you or whatever, I guess? Like they let your data be your data? Microsoft.
Microsoft.
Right?
Microsoft. Oh, sorry, I had my throat there.
Yeah, I don't know if that's how that actually works. Oh, the servers for Pronto Mail are in a nuclear bunker. Well, that's interesting.
What the heck, really? That's strangely awesome.
That is actually strangely awesome.
Yeah, my email's in a nuclear bunker. You can't say that.
That's actually really funny. Oh man. Okay. Now I think I get what he meant by secure. Okay, yeah. If your servers are sitting in a nuclear bunker, yeah, I'd say those are pretty secure.
I don't think the data's going anywhere. You're right.
No, I don't think the data's going anywhere either. Okay. Let's move on to another topic here. We're talking about ISPs. Well, mobile carriers, I guess. T-Mobile and Sprint.
I just love those.
Sorry. I was really, really thirsty. I was like dying of thirst there. Okay. All right. T-Mobile and Sprint are calling it quits on their potential merger. Aren't calling it quits, excuse me, on their potential merger, yet despite recent disagreement over which side would have control over the combined company.
Huh. Well. Okay.
So basically what they want to do, they want to merge together. And, so, yeah, basically creating like a, what the heck do they call it? There's a name for it, and I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, okay, moving on. So the Wall Street Journal reports that T-Mobile US has restarted talks by presenting Sprint with a revised offer. And it's still possible that a deal could be struck even within weeks. So I guess T-Mobile CEO has been talking with like Sprint CEO and making it clear that T-Mobile doesn't want the deal to collapse, I guess. So earlier this week, SoftBank chairman, whose name I'm not going to even try to pronounce, reportedly wanted to walk away from negotiations after shareholders expressed concern about handing over control of Sprint and the merger, or if the merger were successful. Anyway, I guess SoftBank's... No. Some other guy would presumably hold a majority stake in a combined T-Mobile Sprint, but SoftBank was reportedly has been reportedly exploring ways to guarantee itself a powerful say in the company's direction, which makes sense. Like, if you're like one of these head executive peoples, you don't want to lose your power, because you lose your power, then you lose your money too and stuff like that, I guess. So
hope you made enough money while you still had your power.
Right?
I mean, to be fair, I'm sure these people make plenty of money. They could probably comfortably retire.
I'm sure.
But, well, whatever.
Anyone that tries to access anyone's data in Switzerland who isn't the owner will be dealt with good and proper. Do I want to know what that includes or not? I don't know. So, can we apply these rules to Microsoft, please?
I agree. Yes, fantastic. Microsoft, we've got some
some issues,
some policies in mind for you here. You know?
Right? Wait, so if that happens to be true, how does that work with like users in Switzerland using Windows 10 then? With the telemetry data.
What are they doing to Microsoft? Surely they better be showing Microsoft.
Or does that not apply because like Microsoft is a US company or something? Like, I don't know.
I'm sure there's some loophole.
I'm sure there's some loophole.
We're not based in Switzerland. We don't have to follow this rule.
Right.
And that one either. Or all of those.
So anyway, back to the T-Mobile Sprint merge. Both carriers skipped their traditional conference calls when reporting quarterly earnings this month. The move was seen as a way to avoid questioning about the long-rumored on-again, off-again merger. Now, Sprint's board of directors reportedly discussed the situation, and T-Mobile's newest offer on Thursday. The Journal cautions that the two sides could still fail to agree on terms that both find acceptable. So, T-Mobile and Sprint joining together would dramatically reshape the U.S. mobile industry. For sure. Because if it's approved...
Now, I wonder what the combined two companies would look like next to, for example, AT&T and Verizon, because, you know, they're the kind of they're the big guys, right?
Well, okay.
They're the biggest providers, so I wonder what those two combined would look like next to one of them, right?
Well, okay. Hold on a second. So it's interesting that you say that because if approved by the U.S. regulators, blah, 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 blah. Let's see if I can talk today.
Regulators.
Yeah, the deal would result in a merger or mega carrier with over 130 million customers.
So I wonder if they would actually be larger than either AT&T or Verizon.
No. That would position the combined companies much closer to the size of rivals Verizon Wireless and AT&T.
And the other question is, I wonder, whose name would they have? Would they become Sprint? Would they become T-Mobile? Would they come up with a new name?
I don't know how all that would work. That would be interesting to see. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. So a successful merger would also reduce the number of major U.S. cellular providers that consumers can choose between from 4 to just 3. So there's another thing. Both T-Mobile and Sprint have priced their smartphone plans more aggressively in recent years to counter the perceived superior network performance advantage of their larger competitors. Interesting. I don't know. I wonder how that would affect.
I mean, I guess you could argue that it could potentially be bad that one of them would essentially go away and less competition. I guess
exactly. Yes, less competition. So I wonder if, like, with that, like, is it going to be like, yay, now we can raise prices again, and all the consumers are going to be like, really?
I hope not.
Right? So
please stop the madness.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how all that would end up working out, but anyway, it'd be interesting. It would be interesting, but I don't think it would be an interesting that I want to find out interesting.
Yeah.
So even if the two companies agree on terms, now here's the thing. Any proposed deal is certain to face intense scrutiny and stir debate among consumers. No, really? I didn't know that. U.S. lawmakers, of course, as well, and industry groups. It must gain the approval from both the FCC, which will examine whether it benefits consumers and preserves a competitive market, and the Justice Department, which will analyze potential antitrust implications. Here's the thing about this. So there is one member of the political side of things that we really don't know about. I'm specifically avoiding the name because I do not care for this person. Anyway.
Right.
If you catch my drift there. I hate making this show about politics. Because that's not what it's supposed to be. Like, politics are supposed to be the furthest thing away from this show. So
I do enjoy ragging on people that, like, what's his name from the FCC who doesn't like net neutrality? Yeah, I like talking about him.
Pai. Speaking of Ajit Pai, so he has made it his mission to loosen and eliminate regulations in the telecom industry, which is not great for consumers.
It doesn't have to be not great, but, we all know how the big carriers are. Of course it's not going to be great.
Yeah, and he's also mentioned that he's not necessarily opposed to this whole thing. He says, I don't think any regulators would embrace regulatory humility and intellectual honesty about economics, can say whether 3 or 4 or 5 carriers is an optimal number. I mean, okay, he does make a point there that, like, what is the optimal number of, like, like mobile carriers and stuff like that. But, like,
well, on the flip side, I think that there should probably be some considerable effort to, really be sure that this isn't a bad idea, because you can't just go back on that. You can't just be like, oh, well, you're now 2 companies again.
Yeah, exactly. And this isn't the first time that these 2 companies have tried to merge together either. And I think previously it was looked at as a bad idea, and so it just didn't,
And another part of me says, well, if they want to that bad, it can't possibly be good.
That could be the other thing too. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how all that works. But anyway, yeah. Let's not find out. Just like the whole net neutrality thing, let's not find out how all that's going to work out. Let's just, avoid it and we'll call it good.
We've got some issues, but net neutrality isn't one of them.
Right.
So let's, maybe deal with our actual issues instead of something that is really a good thing.
All right, let's move on here. I know you said you wanted to keep it an hour. I don't think that's going to quite happen, but we're not going 2 hours this week. So I think we're going to be back down to like a regular show time, which is like an hour and a half-ish or so. That's usually, I think, what we end up going-ish. So let's talk about Razer's brand new phone real quick here, though. So anyway, let me get back on the correct screens here. So what Tom Moss, he's Razer's head of mobile, he says, you use this for a week and then go to any other phone, you're going to be upset. That's what he says.
Really?
Yeah, he's talking about the Razer phone from Razer, the company you might know from, making mice and laptops and keyboards and other stuff like that. So, yeah, that little company. It's real. It's sitting in my hands. It's unlike any phone I've held all year. Because we're where most new flagship phones are shiny round rectangles with curved screens, Razer's first phone is bashedly a black brick. It literally does kind of look like a brick. So no curved edges. What does it remind me of?
It seems to me like they're going for specs over anything else to try to get people to buy this phone.
Yeah, exactly. I do have to say, though, it does look like a gorgeous phone. It really does.
I think I caught a glimpse of the specs. I didn't look at them with too much detail, but they did, if I remember correctly, they were quite impressive. Even next to the current flagships.
Yeah, so it's got sharp 90-degree corners instead of curved edges. You can even stand the phone on end, actually. Although I wouldn't recommend that.
Oops, it tipped over onto the screen. Oh, crap.
Right? So it's got a 5.7-inch 2560 by 1440 resolution screen. And that is as flat as a pancake. No curved screen here.
I never really saw it. Great appeal.
Well, yeah, and if you remember the iPhone 6...
It's curved. Oh.
Yeah, if you remember the iPhone 6 where they were cracking them in half by accident with that somewhat curved screen.
It's a feature. The screen is curved now. Look at that.
Right? Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway. Let's see. You're going to find giant bezels above and below that screen. And just when we thought bezels were, going out of style. Nope, I guess they're coming back. At least according to Razer. So the Razer phone is not exactly what you'd call stunning. And the phrase, breath of fresh air doesn't really feel right either. Even if the phone is pretty different from anything else on the market. I think they hit the nail on the coffin there when they say, yeah, it is different from anything else on the market. So...
Now, wouldn't it be nail on the head? Either way,
it
makes
on the
sense.
head. You know what I meant. Americans with their, what do they call those things? Idioms? No, I don't think they're called idioms. What are those things called?
I guess I don't know. What's the word? It's like a... I don't know. What
idiosyncrasies. No, is it? No, it's not idiosyncrasies. I don't know what word I'm looking for. Oh, Jerry Bakewell is signing off. Thank you so much for joining us this week. We really appreciate it. And we'll be back next week, 5 p.m. So come join us again. Thank you. And
what he said.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, what he said. Creative, Zach. Creative.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that's my specialty.
So, anyway, yeah, thank you so much for joining us this week. Back to the Razer phone here. What were we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about like the American I don't think they're called. I don't know what they're called. Anyway, so we had one of my teachers in school had like foreign exchange students one year and stuff like that, and all the the American students and stuff like that were like saying things like "you drive me up the wall," and the foreign exchange students were just looking at them like, how the heck do you drive somebody up the wall?
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, but back to this. The Razer phone is not exactly what you call stunning, and the phrase "breath of fresh air" that doesn't really feel right either. Let's see here, but there's another phrase that might actually convey the Razer phone. It's what's on the inside that counts. And you're right. So I think they went for specs over design on this thing.
Yes.
So you can pick one up. It ships November 17th for $699. So $700. And wow. It's cheaper than the new iPhone.
That is true. And it probably has 3 times the specs of the new iPhone.
Probably, actually. No plans for Australia at launch. The company says it will be the first phone with a display that refreshes, get this, 120 times per second.
Oh, right. That was the thing that really made me go, wow. It has 120 hertz. That's awesome.
Right?
I bet that looks gorgeous.
Oh, yes. And
now, you might have an issue with support for that, I guess, but wow, I bet it's gorgeous.
Yeah, so other phones are going to feel terrible after you get your hands on this and you start looking at the screen. Stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's like a high-end gaming monitor or Apple iPad Pro. And combined with dynamic refresh techniques, Razer's calling Ultra Motion. So think of that like NVIDIA's G-Sync, I guess. It means beautiful, butter smooth scrolling down websites and apps, and glossy mobile gameplay. So yeah,
fair enough. Now I don't know what you're gonna be playing, but
right. Sure. So this is what Tom Moss is talking about when he says it's going to be upsetting when you go back to a regular phone.
Well, I'm sure their hope is that you don't go back to your regular phone. You keep there.
Right? Yeah.
Because you liked it that much. But sure.
Yeah, so he believes that after using the 120 frame or hertz, screen, other phones are going to feel terrible. And I would agree.
I actually wouldn't be surprised about that.
So the person who wrote the article says it feels incredibly smooth, and they're already a fan of the side-mounted power button with the fingerprint sensor built right in. That's kind of cool. The speakers, which I guess are actually pretty decent for a phone on this thing. I think it's got... The speakers are pretty beefy, I guess. So
I am not such a fan of speakers. I find them to be just subpar compared to wearing headphones.
Oh, yeah, that's probably true. Excuse me. So the giant bezels at the top and the bottom on this thing, which, by the way, let's see if I can find a decent picture of that.
I never understood the fascination with bezel-less screens either. It's just like, well, I mean, all right, it's got no bezel. Great. Not sure
okay.
Why that's so important.
That's interesting. I thought this program was supposed to use the arrow keys to navigate through pictures, but I guess it doesn't, unless I'm doing something wrong. Boink. Boink. Hey, there it goes. Okay. Let me see if I can find a good picture of where the bezels are and stuff like that. Okay, this is a pretty decent picture. Okay, so the bezels at the top and bottom, I guess, are just giant speakers and stuff like that. And the idea behind them is, as well, is that you can use it to hold the phone in the landscape view, and you're not going to cover
Yeah,
anything
see, that's
up.
the other problem with the bezel of the screen is now you got nothing to hold the phone with. Really?
Yeah, exactly. So
Unless you got a case, which kind of defeats the purpose because there's your bezel. Oh, now it's not bezel-less.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Running down the spec sheet. It's clear that Razer focused on meeting and exceeding the competition in other ways as well. It's got 8 gigabytes of RAM. There's a 4,000 milliamp battery in it. A 12 megapixel dual camera with both a wide angle lens and 2-time optical zoom. Wow, that's actually not that bad for a camera and a mobile phone. 2 years of guaranteed software updates, although it's shipping with last year's Android and not the Oreo that's coming out.
A little counterproductive.
Well,
I guarantee we'll keep it up to date with the latest software for this long, but you don't get that until we decide to upgrade the current one that it ships with. Okay,
excuse
I
me.
guess.
Well, Oreo's not coming out till next spring. It also has 64 gigabytes of storage by default with a micro SD slot that can be used to add up to 2 terabytes of more storage.
I didn't know 2 terabyte micro SD cards existed, but wow, that's nuts.
I didn't know that they existed either. But I can't imagine what you would need a 2 terabyte SD card in your mobile phone for.
For all those games that you're playing on your Razer phone, obviously.
That's a good point. I didn't think about that.
I mean, geez, you could put all your games from your desktop on that.
Right? It's still
you have
using
a real big amount of them.
Right? It's still using a Qualcomm 835 Snapdragon chip that you're still going to find in most of today's flagship phones. But Razer claims that theirs will perform better than the competition by borrowing some of the thermal engineering know-how the company uses for its high-end laptops, including an actual heat pipe.
Interesting.
A heat pipe and a phone.
I wouldn't be too keen on.
It's not the first, I should say that.
Until I could actually see the results. You know,
this is not the first time that a phone has had a heat pipe in it, I should say. There's no waterproofing, no wireless charging, and there is no headphone jack on the thing. So,
no headphone jack? Oh
no,
boy.
No headphone jack.
That's kind of disappointing.
It is. But Razer says the giant speakers aren't compatible with the idea of waterproofing. The all-aluminum chassis doesn't have a spot to pass the wireless charging signal, and there's a USB-C to 3.5mm headphone adapter dongle in the box. So we're back to dongles.
Fair enough. They don't ask for more cash to buy the dongle, but at the same time, you shouldn't have to use one. Just give us a headphone jack, please.
Yeah, perhaps more importantly, prospective US buyers should know it won't support CDMA carriers like Verizon or Sprint. So here's my question. Does that mean it doesn't work on Verizon or Sprint?
So, well, okay, I guess. So then
and if that's
what are you going to do if you have Verizon or Sprint?
Yeah, and if that's the case,
this phone?
Yeah, if that's the case, you're just not allowed to have this phone. I don't know how that all works. Which is kind of sad because, like, for a half a second, I almost thought about buying one.
I didn't because I don't really play games on my phone.
I wouldn't buy it so much. I wouldn't buy it so much for the gaming experience. I just buy it to have like a Razer phone, like a kick-ass phone.
I'm sure it's pretty dope. Don't get me wrong.
That's why I would buy one, and just be like, "Hey, I have a Razer phone." So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So it's not clear yet what beyond the Razer brand makes this a gaming phone. When we ask, Moss downplays that idea a bit. It should just be a gaming, or it shouldn't just be a gaming phone. It should be a phone for gamers, he tells us. Interesting.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense because generally the gaming crowd are a little more concerned about what kind of hardware they're buying, but
yeah,
I guess things like having 8 gigs of RAM and 120 hertz screen would kind of imply that they think their phone is better for gaming than any other.
Yeah, exactly. Let's take a look at some of the pictures of this real quick, though. I've got about 18 of them. We're not going to like spend a lot of time on each one, but I don't know if you have the article open or not. Probably not, but anyway. This thing is massive, though.
Is it?
It is pretty massive. I would say it's about the same size as... Oh, come on. My arrow keys are going to decide not to want to cooperate with me. Hold on. Let me do this. I gotta figure out why that's not working. Where did I put that stuff? This is that thing where like I gotta figure out, oh, it's in this folder, and then I have to go here, and then I do this. Stuff like that. Okay. Here we go. Okay. Let's see if this wants to work now here. Okay, yep, okay. No, it does look pretty big. It's... Okay, so I'm glad that they didn't do, like, the thing they do on some Android OSs where they have, like, more than 3 buttons down at the bottom, where they have, like, that odd button that does, like, one random thing. I hate that. So they've elected to just have a home button, a, back button, and then the one that allows you to like switch between all your apps and stuff like that. So anyway,
there's not a back button. I actually don't mind the back button on my phone.
No, it does have a back button. There's a back button, there's a home button, and then there's the square one to like be able to switch through your apps and stuff like that. So there's the nice camera on the front. The nice Razer logo on the back. Spot for your SIM card. Okay. So here's a really great picture right here. So they've got it standing up next to an iPhone. I don't know what version that is. I don't know if that's the 7. I'm going to guess whatever it is, it's a Plus, though. So it looks to be about the same height and about the same size as the iPhone, I guess. So,
all right.
As an iPhone Plus. So, oh, here it is standing up on its end. Again, not recommended.
Not recommended unless you're ready to grab it before it smacks on its screen.
Right. It does look like it comes with the tool to get your SD card slot out. Stuff like that. There's a couple buttons on the side. And, yeah. I mean, it looks pretty massive in the hand, but I don't know. Anyway. But yeah, so besides that, I really don't know what like all the hype is about it and stuff like that, other than just like the awesome specs. But you're right. We still have no idea what actually makes it a gaming phone.
I suppose I'd be inclined to believe whatever what's that person's name said, that it's not a gaming phone, it's a phone for gamers. Well, I mean, I guess not necessarily gamers, more like it's just a high-spec phone.
Right. Oh, the
and
X.
You know, to be fair, it is a pretty high-spec phone.
Okay, so the iPhone X has
they get to say that, and I think they do get to say that. They're not talking crap when they say it's like a high-spec.
Yeah. Okay, so some specs real quick here. So it does have a little bit smaller screen than the iPhone X. The iPhone X has a 5.8-inch screen. The Razer phone has a 5.72-inch screen, but there are more pixels in the Razer phone than there are in the iPhone X.
Pixel density. Fantastic.
Well, the pixel densities, yes. So there's 514 pixels per inch on the Razer phone, but there are actually more on the OnePlus 5 with a 5.5-inch screen, which is only 1920 by 1080.
It's probably a fair bit smaller then.
Yeah, I would imagine. It comes in at 6.95 ounces, which is pretty heavy. And, okay, so it looks like, oh, the OnePlus 5 actually has a 16 megapixel camera in it. But like the Razer, the iPhone, the Galaxy, and the Pixel all have 12 megapixel cameras in them. So, interesting.
Yeah, I can't say I know anything about phone cameras.
No, I don't either. Anyway, okay. Moving on. You know what? Yeah, we'll do it real quick. I got a kicker this week. Little kicker story. Anyway, so the Google Home Assistants and like the Siris and your Alexas and stuff like that. Most of the time, your voice-activated tech works the way you want it to, but one Redditor with a Google Home Mini connected to Nest recently found out it can't be right all the time. So,
All right.
Reddit user Sheik403 felt cold in his bedroom one night, so he asked his device what the temperature was inside, and the answer actually didn't make any sense to him. So, what the thing responded back to him is that it was 60 degrees inside. Confused because he was sure he had set the temperature to be 65 degrees at night, he opened his Nest app, and sure enough, the Nest was set to 65 degrees. He then asked his Home Mini what the Nest temperature, or what is the Nest temperature? The Mini responded that the temperature was actually 66, and the Nest was set to heat at 65. So he was obviously pretty baffled, and so he put a post up on Reddit explaining the situation and asked the Google Home Mini, or if the Google Home Mini had like its own thermometer built in. Not the case. In fact, what it was doing was, it was taking the temperature of it was looking at I guess inside, and the Google Home Mini picked up on, or hang on. Oh, okay, here's the answer. Okay, so it's giving you the temperature inside Mahalazi. Anyway, it was giving him the temperature of like someplace in Turkey, I guess.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah.
How does that even happen? What?
So if you type on your phone, what is the temperature inside, it will give you the weather forecast for the town in Turkey. Sometimes if you emphasize the in of inside, it understands it has two words and looks up the temperature currently of side. So yeah. Anyway, long story short, I guess it couldn't decipher the fact that he wanted to know the temperature inside of his house, and so it was telling him the temperature in like some place in Turkey.
Weird. What the heck?
Yeah.
Someplace in Turkey?
Well, do you remember a few weeks ago, we were talking about how like if you asked Siri what the national anthem of Bulgaria was, she was telling you.
It was just about garbage.
No, she was telling you it was Justin Bieber and Luis Fonsi's Despacito.
Yeah. It was spouting garbage.
So, anyway, it's interesting how that, like, stuff works sometimes, and how, like, things get all messed up, but anyway. The world we live in. So, anyway. You know what? I think this week's show was actually pretty decent, despite the fact that the topics weren't all that great, so, anyway.
Maybe we stepped our game up.
Maybe we did. I don't know. You know, we've got people watching now, so...
Pressure's on.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway, no, it's awesome to have like some people watching with us and things like that. And Terry Bakewell was on with us for quite a while this week, so we must have not been that boring, I guess. So
I guess not.
That's a positive. And everything.
Always.
So, with that being said, I don't think Zach, you don't have anything else to add this week, do you?
Nope.
So, and I don't either. So, with that being said, we are going to go ahead and pretty much end this. Well, not pretty much end. We are going to end this episode of The Ram Show. Thank you very much for joining in this week. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Get subscribed if you haven't done that already. Turn on that bell as well so you get notifications whenever we upload a new video. We'll be back same time, same place next week right here on TechBeam, 5 p.m. when we're starting the Ram Show on your Sundays. Well, yeah, on your Sundays, I guess. So, anyway, we'll be back next week. Thanks for joining us. Bye.